This channel is specifically for the over 30s crowd who potentially are parents, certainly have a lot of more roles and responsibilities than they did in their 20s. Motivation's probably a little bit less. You might be noticing some body fat hanging around in areas which it never used to be before. And actually getting into shape now has presented itself with barriers and restrictions and just difficulties compared to potentially when you were younger. Boom, yes team, what is happening? How are you doing? Hopefully well. If you're listening back on the Fit After 30 show, the podcast, welcome in, welcome back. Obviously, there's been a little bit of a hiatus, but you're gonna see some more regularity with this long form content. And if you're new to the channel, you're watching on YouTube, even more excitingly, hello. Welcome in once again. This is very new to me. This is gonna get hopefully better and better as we go on with the process. But this video one, this first introductory video is just to do a couple of things straight off the gates before we get into the meat and potatoes of what you're gonna get from this channel, why it's gonna be important to you, and ultimately how it's gonna help improve your lifestyle, the way you look, the way you feel. So first and foremost, what we're gonna do is make sure that you understand who I am and why I'm even worthy of your very valuable time. Number two, we're gonna make sure that you are the right person for me as much as I'm the right person for you. See, the reality is you speak to everyone and you speak to no one. I can help a certain type of person, a certain type of client out incredibly well, but they have to be qualified in order to do so. And now as I get older, my skill set has gone very niche into the type of person I know I can help. And hopefully that is you, but if it's not, no hard feelings. I'm sure there's other channels in which you could be listening to. And then thirdly, we're gonna get into what to expect from this channel, what to expect from the podcast moving forwards to make sure that we level up every aspect of your health, your fitness, and indeed your well-being. Now, why on earth am I doing YouTube? Because quite frankly, this is the last thing that I need to be doing, the long form content stuff. The reality is I am busy with, just like you are, the amount of plates I've got to spin being a dad, a husband, a business owner. This is probably not something in which I had anticipated doing, but now I've committed to it is for a very specific reason. And the reality is, guys, I've been in the fitness industry my entire life, like literally since 15, 16 years old. And I'm about to have my 35th birthday in a few months. So you do the maths on that one. And I honestly feel that, yes, with TikTok, with Reels and what have you, everything is very throwaway. Everything is very attention grabby, and I've got 2 seconds to get your attention, and it needs to be quick, and 3 steps to do X, and blah, 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 blah. However, the point of the long form content, for me at least, is to make sure that you have succinct episodes and videos to go back on. So you can really hone in when it comes to your training, your nutrition, your lifestyle, and your mindset, and really have a deep dive on the topic so you can get the very most from it, rather than just scratch the surface with surface level stuff, which unfortunately TikTok, Reels, etc. are known for. That being said, I'm super active mainly over on Instagram, so go ahead and give me an ad if you're new here at Sharif Lawton. That'd be fantastic. Drop me a DM. And if you like the sound of what we're going to be getting into, I am going to ask you at this stage to hit the little bell icon at the top of this video to make sure you're not missing anything moving forward. Consider hitting that subscribe button as well to make sure that you're not missing out on any of the good content. So without further ado, team, let's get straight into it. Who am I and why should you listen to me? Well, my name, as I say, is Sharif Lawton. For those of you that are completely new to me and my world, I've been in the fitness industry my entire life, now focusing primarily on body transformation when it comes to getting you an absolutely incredible result by manipulating your training, your nutrition, your lifestyle, your mindset to make sure you're exactly where you need to be and step into the upgraded version of yourself. Now, I started with very humble beginnings, working on the gym floor, sweeping treadmills, all that good stuff. Worked my way up into one-to-one personal trainer, working outside of a very prestigious health club in North London, training the chairman and all that good stuff. And it was going really well. However, there came a point whereby I was noticing something. I was noticing that clients were coming to me for a body transformation. They wanted to look better. They wanted to gain the muscle. They wanted to burn the fat. They wanted to lose weight, whatever it may be. And I was telling them, okay, cool. So it's not just about what we're now doing in the gym with training, but it's more about, what you're doing with nutrition, what you're doing with your lifestyle, what you're doing with your mindset, what you're doing with your weekends, what you're doing with your holiday, what you're doing when you self-sabotage, what you're doing with your emotional eating, etc., etc. Basically, all the soft skills which need to be developed outside of that 1 hour in which you're now training in order to get you the very best results. Well, guess what? We weren't coaching them and we weren't supporting them with the other 23 hours of the day. And this was leaving me scratching my head a little bit, because I was like, this kind of personal training model is a little bit broken, because all I'm really doing and all the personal trainer is really now doing is counting reps, checking form, which certainly has validity and value. But for the outcomes the clients that were coming to me were wanting, I really wasn't providing that. And it never sat right with me. A few years went on, I was lucky enough to open up my own studio in London as well, doing the same sort of thing, having my private clients, training them, having a laugh, high five, see you next Tuesday, bye. However, some were getting great results and quite frankly, some weren't. Now, Then the world stopped, lockdown 2020. Boris Johnson goes, hey, no one's allowed to go to a gym anymore. And at the time, I already had my kind of foot in the door of online coaching. It'd always been a thing for me. I'd had, some experience, but it'd always been a bit of pocket money. But actually, if you ask even my wife at the time, I'll tell her that, listen, this is something which I really want to go all in on. I just didn't know how. I didn't have the framework and quite frankly, I didn't have the balls to basically burn the boats and go all in, which is exactly what I needed to do. And quite frankly, 2020 was the push in which I needed to get that job done. So with that, I am now the founder of 23 Lean, which is a coaching company which focuses, yes, on the training aspect of things, of course, but also on the other 23 hours of the day when it comes to managing a client's emotional intelligence around decision-making around food, their lifestyle, their nutrition, managing holidays, alcohol, weekends, emotional support, all the stuff in which I know gets an absolutely fantastic result, which we weren't coaching, which we weren't teaching, which we weren't supporting our clients with the traditional one-to-one model. And safe to say, as soon as I pivoted online, the results in which we get on a weekly basis with our coaching clients are just blow away. And you can check that out on my Instagram, or indeed, as you can see on screen just here for a few examples. Which then transitions nicely into, okay, who is this for? What is my information for? How can I potentially help you? And I think it's actually really important to go into who am I not going to be able to help, rather than who I can first and foremost, okay? So if you are looking at some sort of endurance event, if you are looking at packing on the most amount of muscle you potentially can, and you're a bit of a robot and you wanna live on chicken, broccoli, and brown rice times 6 meals a day, you don't wanna have a life outside of the gym, this channel probably isn't for you. And guess what? I've been there in my young years and it isn't fun, but I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. This channel is specifically for the over 30s crowd who potentially are parents, certainly have a lot of more roles and responsibilities than they did in their 20s. They're probably a little bit banged up and injured compared to what they used to be. Motivation's probably a little bit less. You might be noticing some body fat hanging around in areas which it never used to be before. And actually getting into shape now has presented itself with quite a few new barriers and restrictions and just difficulties compared to potentially when you were younger. If that is you, this channel is going to be for you. The Fit After 30 Show podcast is going to be for you. And I welcome you into my life and my world. Because full transparency, even me as a dad right now, the things that I've got to do to get into shape have wildly changed ever since that I've become a dad and a business owner versus when I had all the time in the world and no responsibilities. That's just not my life now, and it's probably not yours as well. So if you want to know how to manage socials, if you want to know how to manage family, if you want to know how to work a way around your super busy schedule when it comes to what exactly to do in the gym, what to avoid, and how to make the most out of everything so we can get you the best results in the shortest amount of time possible, this channel is probably going to be for you. And then lastly, moving forward, what is there going to be to expect from this channel and from me? Well, first and foremost, we're going to be picking off a direct topic every single week when it comes to training, when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to lifestyle, when it comes to mindset, to make sure that we have a proper deep dive on it rather than just skim the surface, so that you're crystal clear about what to do. And I'm going to give you some action points off the back of it so you can get implementing fast, because all the information in the world is not what you need, my friend. You actually need the implementation to follow through. And that's what this channel is now going to be about. Secondarily, I'm going to be hooking up with other people in the industry, which I'm fortunate enough to know. I'm rubbing shoulders with some of the best coaches in the entire world, mentors and what have you. And I'm going to be giving you their expertise, their knowledge, their wisdom on certain topics, which I know are going to be absolutely gold for you, to just give you the best possible shot and making sure that you're leveling up and upgrading to the very best version of yourself, physically and mentally, moving forwards. So with that, I'm gonna wrap up, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you in the next episode. But again, if you've not done so already, do consider hitting subscribe, hit that bell notification, all that good stuff to make sure that this is now gonna be part of your daily routine. And I'm massively looking forward to serving you up some really, really solid content around fitness, nutrition, health, all that good stuff over the coming weeks. Thank you for being you, and I'll see you on the next one in a bit.